right now, over here on the right is Deb Hutt, and his title is Highway Administrator for Road and Bridge. We have our High Sheriff, Brian and all of you in here. And then we have Joanna Jasper, who is our Public Administrator. And of course, last but not least, is Sheila Wyatt, who's a Commissioner. And they're going to update you for about 5 minutes each one of them about what's going on in their department. Update you on what's coming up or what's happened since the first of the year. And then after they get finished, we will open it to the floor to questions. So you could go first.
Currently, right now, we're working on 75 miles of road, clearing the brush, doing the ditch drainage, breaking rock, getting ready for our patching to do chip seal. We've got about 5 miles of micro paving that we're going to be doing. It's kind of a new to us overlay. It consists of an emulsion oil, aggregate, concrete, and a hot crack fill that goes down to fill all the cracks, any void. And it's a little bit cheaper than hot mix, but it will last 2 to 4 years longer. So we did one road last year and everybody was tickled to death with it. It looks like you can drive on it in 30 minutes and you can put your paint down on it in 1 hour. Also, we're currently building a bridge. The county crew is doing it at Dalton Road in Bradleyville. Tomorrow we're scheduled to pour the 2 end vents, and then we've already got the beams. All of that will go pretty quick after we get the concrete cured out. From there we'll be moving to old cheese plant road. They're off of 125 in Bradleyville. Right now it's under the MoDOT inspection, but it's pretty bad shape, and it gets underwater pretty quick. So we're going to try to get it to where at least 10 families there are not stuck behind the water. And currently working on Round Mountain Bridge and Walnut Shade. It's going to be about a 300-foot bridge. Just now breaking ground on it. And also Thunder Road in Pro Tem, we had put in for a grant, flap grant through Corps, and we got approved for it, and currently it's under engineering to do all the environmental study and stuff on it. And it is 100% paid grant, wasn't it? Okay. Chip seal wise, we're also going to be doing about 4 miles in Old Venus on the Lake area, where they just went through and got those folks sewer lines. And then Clevenger Cove Road, they just got done putting sewer in there, and we'll go back in and regrade the road and get a new road put in there where they just install the sewer. Also, I want to touch on our recycle center. We opened February 1st. We took the equipment over from the city of Branson, and that has been going very well. We're averaging 50 plus cars a day. We're taking the same thing they did, except for the hazardous waste that goes to Springfield. We're taking tin, aluminum, colored paper, plastic bottles, jugs, office paper, cardboard, and shredded paper. And that is located at 274 Buchanan Road, next to our transfer. Well, all I had on my list.
I want to give you all an update on the law enforcement tax that got voted in last year and what it's currently doing for the county. So we're able to give raises and raise our starting pay, across all divisions in order to get us up comparable to the surrounding counties and other counties within the state that are similar size. We've added 2 additional investigators, 2 additional corrections officers, and we are currently purchasing body cameras, which I think in today's climate, that's really, really important. I think it'll be good for the county. We have created a hiring board, and we have created a uniform interview process. That's something that we didn't really have before. Typically, the sheriff would do interviews. Maybe one other person would sit in, and that was it. So I've created a board of 8 people, consists of deputies, corrections officers, and dispatch. So it's not just 1 or 2 people making those decisions. We had 3 people in the background investigation school. That's one thing that we struggled with in the past. We didn't do really in-depth background investigations, and I think with what we do and our accountability, I think it's really important that we do that. We have started to advertise whenever we have openings. In the past, it was typically just word of mouth, maybe an officer would hear that we have an opening, and so they come submit an application, but that kind of limited us. We didn't have a lot of, we didn't draw from a large area, but now we're advertising the openings we have. And in order to take politics out of the equation, I'm not involving myself in that process. I'm leaving it up to the board, and then I'm gonna hire based on the recommendation. We have started participating in MoDOT traffic grants as well as drug enforcement grants. This is paid overtime to increase the proactive patrols with no additional costs to the taxpayers from local tax dollars. In an effort to increase community involvement, we're working on a policy currently to start a ride-along program. We've registered to participate in National Night Out, and we're working with other agencies locally to see what they're doing as far as their Citizen Police Academy. That's something that we want to get going here. I think it's really important to have those relationships. In order to increase transparency and community awareness through social media posts, we've got some officers that are scheduled to attend an upcoming public information class. It's something that we've not done before, and I think it's really beneficial to use social media, Facebook and Instagram, and those platforms to get information out as to what's going on in the Sheriff's Department, as well as if we need help from the community if we're looking for somebody. It seems like these days more people get their news from Facebook than they do from the news, and so if we're looking for somebody and need help from the public, that's about the quickest way we can get the word out. The last couple things I want to talk about are not anything new, but it's something that I want to mention. ALICE training, we do that in most of the schools within the county. In fact, I think we do it in all the schools except for Branson, as far as the public schools are concerned. And Branson is doing the same training, but they have Branson police officers that do it. And ALICE is an acronym. It stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. And it's basically the active shooter training that the schools are required to have. They can choose any program that they want, but we teach ALICE at the Sheriff's Department. We have 2 instructors, and we teach that for free. And it's really beneficial, not only for the community and the public, but it's beneficial for us because our officers know what the school staff is being taught, how they're gonna respond. And so it's beneficial for our officers to know that. But we also offer that to any businesses or churches. So if any of you all are interested in that, contact me or my training officer, Jeremy Wilson, and we'll get that scheduled. It's really basic. We can do it in about an hour. We're not teaching any tactical stuff or anything. It's just really basic. Anybody can do it. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Another thing I want to mention, I'm excited that COVID has had us tabled for about a year now, but there's some training that we do within the county that it's called ASHER. It's Active Shooter and Hospital Event Response. We started this about 3 years ago. and Taney County is very well prepared, not just the law enforcement, but EMS and fire. This training that we do, whenever it's scheduled, there's a particular number of law enforcement that have to be scheduled for the class, a particular number of firefighters and first responders, and a particular number of ambulance personnel. And when we schedule it, we're careful to not schedule all Taney County deputies as the law enforcement aspect. It's deputies, Branson Police, Hollister Police. We invite everybody, because if there's an event here in Forsyth, say an active shooter incident at the school, we're gonna respond. Forsyth PD is gonna respond. There's gonna be highway patrol officers there. Merriam Woods will probably respond. Whoever's working is gonna show up to those. And so it's important that we all train together. So like I said, we've not been able to do that for about a year, but we finally got the okay to get that up and rolling again. So I just want to mention that. And that's all I have.
Okay. So I will explain a little bit about my job, because it seems like since I came into office a little over 3 months ago, everybody's question is, what does a public administrator do? And basically, we take care of people that don't have anybody else that does that for them, that can do that for them. Some people do have family that are not willing to do that for them. So they come to us under court appointment. We can serve as guardian and conservator, or we also serve as personal rep for estates. Right now, we have 83 current cases, with 4 more coming in probably within a month. And since I started in January, that's 2 additional estates, and with the 4 pending cases, 8 new people in 3 months, a little over 3 months. Of the 80 cases that we currently have, 45 of those reside outside of Taney County to be in the facilities that they need for their treatment and their different diagnoses. One of the kind of misconceptions we have is that most people think it's older people that are in our care, when in all reality, about 45% of our caseload is under the age of 50. And about half of those are mental health issues that were not present at birth. So that just shows you the increase in the mental health issues that people in this county have. With COVID, visits have been, a lot of Zoom stuff like they talked about. We're required by statute to visit them in person 1 time a year. I like to see mine every 3 months right now. We've been doing a lot of quarterly reviews through Zoom or by conference call if facilities don't have that ability. So I'm looking forward to being able to get back into some of the facilities to see people. A lot of them are requiring to have COVID vaccines for us to be able to visit. So I just finally got my 2nd one last week. I think that's it. That's all I have.
Well, that's good, because I really don't have anything. Jotted some things down and didn't want to get on any other territory, because we all work together to do what we do for you and Taney County. I'm going to begin simply by saying that Taney County is a blessed county. We're blessed with the natural resources that God has given us, and with the people that are willing to serve and manage those resources. And 3 of them sit right here. 1 of them's at another table back there. Your public administrator, sheriff, and county highway administrator, they take their position very serious. The highway administrator has his supervisors and stuff of the roads throughout Taney County to see if you have any complaint whatsoever, you call that office, and it is jotted down and it's recorded and it is seen to. And also by them doing that, it makes my job much easier, because I may get the call first because they don't know who to call. And as soon as I make a call over there, they see to it that it is addressed. They work to keep the roads safe. They work with the sheriff's department to, once again, the sheriff's department is about protecting you in any way, the safety. And if his deputies are out and they see something that needs to be taken to the road, they can simply make that call in, and they work well together. Our public administrator is constantly getting, some of her clientele over the years has changed due to, I know it's a big kept secret, but we have a drug problem in our area. and prolonged use affects the minds of people. I had someone in my office yesterday who was looking for their son who was trying to commit suicide. He was high on drugs and so forth. It's disheartening to see what it can do, and I believe the Sheriff's Department is working on that as one of his top priorities, not putting, but I've heard him say that before. And I can do this where they can't ring on their bell, is that I really appreciate the testing that our sheriff is doing and hiring the people and looking for the best people. It's protecting all of us against lawsuits. It's making the best of employees for them. And we were able to allow 4, I believe, deputies that through how much was coming in now through the law enforcement tax.
Two deputies and 2 corrections officers.
And 2 correctional officers, 4 employees, and as the tax grows, we'll be able to do more, but it just started being collected in October. And with the revenue coming in, right now, Taney County shows about 1% less than this time last year. And that is even with, from October, the law enforcement tax that was passed. But it's kind of hard to figure at this point. Next month we'll have a better draw on it, because the law enforcement tax all goes into law enforcement fund, and the expenses, any new expenses are still coming out of what we call county general revenue. If you hear me say GCR, that's what I mean. All of the offices are pretty much paid out of county GCR, with the exception of Road and Bridge. Road and Bridge, many years ago in the 80s, the people voted in a 0.5% sales tax, and that is what makes you able to have the roads maintained like they are. Employees, the equipment they have, I'll put a road department up against any road department I know, and I've done that in different situations. The law enforcement tax, but being by you, the people passing it, you have helped keep Taney County the way that to expect what you have expected in the past. We have tried to continue that service of what you expected without cutting back, but we've been going, I call it in the red, some don't like that term, we've been going out of reserves. And any business can only do that so long. And if you, the people, had not voted in the law enforcement tax, our years were very short in that we could do that, there would start being layoffs instead of being able to add on and so forth. This is the first year, we had 1 year in 2012 that they were in the black. It was 24,000, I think. As far back as I went to 2007, they were operating out of reserves. And this year, we came back 20, I wrote it down somewhere, 20-something thousand in the black. But what helped us do that, because we just began with the law enforcement tax, what helped us is the state came up with $1 million payoff on the prisoners that they had owed for some time. So that was able to add it, and COVID helped us. The way COVID helped us was it cut out trips, it cut out training, it cut out various things of that. But really, the $1 million did help. And at this time, all the expenses are still coming out of county GCR for the sheriff, the juvenile office, the prosecutor, but the revenue is going into, as required by law, into the law enforcement tax fund, the special called 550 account. At the end of this is the first quarter, the intent was to begin to try to gradually pull the expenses for the employees, the benefits and so forth, out of the GCR and for them to, those departments to be able to hire and gain more through that. The prosecutor's office is one I didn't address. The prosecutor had got to where he could not hire an assistant prosecutor. There was not the funds for it. You couldn't have it gave enough funds to put in there that he was able to hire an assistant prosecutor now, and that's very important to go with the law enforcement. For the first quarter, 500, this is just benefits for the employees of those offices that the law enforcement tax was passed. $502,387.52. That's just the benefits. That will come out of GCR over into law enforcement. So the next, you can get a little more ideal of what your budget is looking at, just a little bit better. And as the bond to build the traditional building, the law enforcement, it sunsets, and it did sunset in 22, which we would have had none if you'd had no income. I'm not saying the bond, the sales tax. But by you passing the tax now, our final payment on the bond is April of 2023. And after that bond payment is paid off, then once again, every time we'll be able to, each one of those departments will be able to get more. Immediately, Sheriff Daniels mentioned the vest and stuff, the things that have considered for safety items we consider those a necessity, and so you immediately get those for protection. I think that's about all I've got to say, unless
We open the floor to any questions directed to any of the panel. Anybody have any questions they want to ask them?
I will add one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I should, because we do have great benefits for the employees. That's always been one of the hiring things, where we couldn't pay the salary that would match some other business, but we had the benefits. But what has happened now, since so many people can be paid to sit at home and to not work, we have